Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We are inshallah starting with the Qissa. Brother Zaman will be doing the recitation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be upon them, is to have thus related. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house one day and said to me, "Peace be on you, Fatima." I replied, "And upon you peace." Then he said, "I can feel weakness in my body." I said, "Allah protects you from weakness, father." He said, "Fatima, please bring the Yemeni cloak and cover me with it." So I brought the Yemeni cloak and covered him with it. Then I looked at him and saw that his face was shining like a full moon with its glory and splendor. After a while, my son Hassan came in and said, "Peace be on you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather is lying underneath the cloak." Hassan went near the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son, and the master of my fountain. You are given the permission to enter." So Hassan entered the cloak with them. After a while, my son Hussein came in and said, "Peace be on you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather and your brother are lying underneath the cloak." Hussein stepped towards the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son, and the interceder of my followers. You are given the permission to enter." So Hussein entered the cloak with them. After a while, Abul Hassan Ali ibn Abi Talib came in and said, "Peace be on you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "And upon you peace, O father of Hassan and the commander of the faithful." He then said, "Fatima, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my brother, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, he is underneath the cloak with your two sons." So Ali went near the cloak and said, "Peace be on you, Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my brother, my legatee, my successor, and my standard bearer. You are given the permission to enter." So Ali entered the cloak with them. Then I stepped forward and said, "Peace be on you, my father, O Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my daughter, O part of myself. You are given the permission to enter." So I entered the cloak with them. Getting closer, underneath the cloak, my father, the Prophet of Allah, had the two ends of the cloak raised his right hand towards the heavens and prayed, "O Allah, these are the people of my household. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh, and their blood is my blood. Whoever hurts them hurts me too. Whoever displeases them displeases me too. I am at war with those at war with them, and I am at peace with those at peace with them. I am the enemy of their enemies, and I am the friend of their friends. They are from me, and I am from them. O Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and upon them, and remove impurity from them and keep them thoroughly pure." Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, "O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five lying underneath the cloak." Gabriel, the trusted angel, asked, "Who are underneath the cloak?" The Almighty answered, "They are the household of the Prophet and the assets of prophethood. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her two sons." Gabriel said, "O Lord, may I fly to earth to be the sixth of them?" Allah replied, "Yes, you are given the permission." Gabriel, the trusted, landed near them and said, "Peace be on you, O Prophet of Allah. The All-Highest conveys his peace on you and his greetings and says, Be my honor and glory, O my angels, O residents of my heavens. Verily, I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love. God has given me the permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah." The Prophet replied, "And peace be on you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted the permission." So Gabriel entered the cloak with us and said to my father, "Allah sends his revelation to you. Verily, Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of household, and purify you with perfect purification. Then Ali said to my father, O Prophet of Allah, tell me what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath this cloak? The Prophet replied, by him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them His blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperse. So Ali said, verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners. Then my father replied, by whom who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of the mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah will remove his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish. Ali happily said, verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next.
Thank you so much, Brother Zaman, for that beautiful recitation. At this time, I would like to request Sheikh Hazari to take the member, and I'll request everyone to come forward. Whoever can hear my voice outside and they want to join, the Englishman is, Sheikh is taking the member right now. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Maybe I meant to deliver something. Thank you. على حب فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لتعجيل فرج الإمام صاحب العصر والزمان صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المعصومين الأبرار الميامين المظلومين المضطهدين. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة يا غريب يا مظلوم يا عطشان كربلاء. ما خاب والله من تمسك بكم وأمنا من لجأ والتجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا جاءهم أمر من الأمن أو الخوف أذاعوا به ولو ردوه إلى الرسول وإلى أولي الأمر منهم لعلمه الذين يستنبطونه منهم ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته لاتبعتم الشيطان إلا قليلا. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. والسلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear brothers and sisters, when Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam stopped in a place called Tha'labiyya, they say he fell asleep for a little while. And Al-Imam As-Sajjad alayhi salam relates that my father was asleep, suddenly he woke. And when he woke, I went to him and I heard him say, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Surely we are from Allah and to him we will return. I asked him, I said, Ya Abba, you fell asleep. Is there anything? He said, my son, I fell asleep and in my dream, I saw a rider. A faris came to me, a rider on a horse came to me, and he said to me, Ya Hussein, innakum tasra'un al-masir, wal-manaya tasra' bikum ila al-jannah. Oh Hussein, you are hurriedly moving on this path. You are going to some destination, and death is following you and pushing you towards Jannah. This profound statement of Imam Hussein alayhi salam points that what we consider to be the decades of our life, whatever those decades are, 50, 60, 70, sometimes whatever Allah decides, if it is less than that, we assume that there is nothing driving us, and that it is because we believe that everything that is or everything that will be in this hayat ad-dunya and nothing else. And yet, indeed, Allah has created you, and He says, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. He says in this ayah, I created death and life. He didn't say life and death. He preceded death. Death came first because you didn't exist before. And indeed, the minute you came into existence, every second brought you closer to death. So death indeed is driving you, is it not? Or at least it is waiting there for you with open hands to come. That means that every step you're taking, you're making a step towards a finality. And what have you contributed to that finality? And that is what we learn from Imam Hussein. That every step that he took was absolutely thought out, absolutely a decided step towards something that was not only a benefit to himself. Obviously, he is Imam. He is doing things for the cause of Allah, for the satisfaction of Allah, but for the benefit of everybody else. And we talked yesterday that insan, the reason we suffer is because unfortunately we lack rigor in our lives. We are very weak. We stumble very easily. We don't have anything that we can hold on to. And you know this, that one of the ayahs of the Holy Quran, it says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu asbiru wa sabiru wa rabitu wattaqullah la'allakum tuflihun. That, O you who believe, have patience. Wa sabiru, Asbiru wa sabiru. He says, be patient, but he also says, prepare yourself. When he says sabiru, be aware of your surroundings and be prepared for what is coming. Warabitu, anchor yourselves. Rabitu, it means hold on to something that when the wind blows, you will not fly. When the waves crash, you will remain firmly in your place and you will not move. Unfortunately, we move constantly. We are constantly swaying back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And again, I said this yesterday, that the legacy of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that when he got to Karbala, people had joined him, people had left him, people had joined him, people had left him continuously. So much so that once on the path to Karbala, he is making his way through the desert. It is described in the Maqatil, in the Arbab al-Maqatil, that two men were walking towards him on the same path. He was going forward in this direction. Two men were coming towards him from the facing direction. When they saw Imam Hussein, they turned away from him. They turned away from Imam Hussein and they went to the other side. Now they say that there were some other people in that area. One man went and he spoke to them. He said to them, look, you were walking towards Al-Hussein. You were coming on this path. You diverted. What happened? What is your story? Where are you coming from? They said, we are coming from Kufa. We saw Al-Hussein and we know there is no support for Al-Hussein. There is no reason for us to join him. The hearts of the Kufans are with him, but the swords are against. So you see that there were people who joined in that path and there were people who left that path. There were people who at the last minute came. There were some people who they warned and warned and warned and still they didn't care. Why? Because insan is not rigorous enough. Anything shakes us. And it is the cause of Imam Hussein to remind us that don't be shaken by life. Know who you are. Know your identity. Your identity is that of being a Muslim. It is okay to say, I'm American. I'm an American. I love my hamburger. Okay, I'm an American. I will eat my halal pepperoni pizza. Notice I said halal pepperoni pizza, yeah? I hope you guys have some halal pepperoni pizza here in the MVA, but I haven't yet experienced anything like that. I'm an American, but to supersede that with something means that I'm Muslim first. And I am Shi'i, follower of Ahl al-Bayt. Not just Muslim as in I have no identity. No, my identity is that I am Ahlul Bayti, I am Muhammadi, I am Alawi, I am Hassani, I am Husseini. That identity, my dear brothers and sisters, is shaped from within us. It is indeed shaped. It is shaped by what our parents teach us. It is shaped by the adab, the mannerisms, the character, personality our elders instill within us, the knowledge we have gained as children and as we grow from every moment. But it is also invariably shaped by our surroundings. And I want to stop here a little bit. That although we are impacted by how much we know, how much we do ourselves, how aware we are of our inner sense of what Allah has placed inside of us, and that's why Rasulullah says, "Man arafa nafsah faqad arafa rabbah." Whoever knows themselves knows their Lord. Why? Because if you know your true nature, who you are, clearly you will get to Allah. Truly, if you know who you are and what is your purpose, you will reach Allah. But does that mean that where you are and what your surroundings are don't affect you? They certainly do. And I'm going to pose 2 or 3 questions to you tonight, insha'Allah, by which I hope we can think a little more, okay? Because it is the way of Al-Hussein, alayhi salam. It is the way of Al-Imam Abi Abdullah, that not only was he so aware of what is inside of him, he knew his surroundings 100%. He knew the society in which he lived, he knew the men he was dealing with, he knew the tribal warfare, he knew the backward culture, he knew the influences, he knew the forces of nature all around him. He knew, that's why he did what he did. That's why he did what he did. And the same goes for us, that if we want to live in a life where we are not affected by things, we have to be aware. And people want to shape everything in such a way that religion molds towards hayat ad-dunya. And Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam, he said, "An-nasu abidu dunya, wad-deenu la'iqun ala alsinatihim." You know this, that the humanity, they are the slaves of hayat ad-dunya, slaves of the life of this world. And religion is the slaver, it's the spit on their tongues. They move it around in the direction that they want, that suits their purposes. وَإِذَا مُحِّصُوا بِالْبَلَاءِ قَلَّ الدَّيَّانُونَ. The minute trial and difficulty comes, they sell their religion. They sell their religion. This is insan. Why? Because everything affects us. Everything impacts us. Let me give you a simple example. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. When he came to Medina, what was the state of Medina at that time? And we must examine Rasul's strategy, how he behaved. He came into a place where the Aus and the Khazraj constantly fought against each other. Arab tribes fighting, warring against each other. The Banu Nadir and Qurayza constantly fighting against each other. Banu Nadir and Qurayza were Jewish tribes. Nadir was the higher status, Qurayza was the lower status. And they had their own laws. The Charter of Medina, the law, that constitution that Rasulullah instituted in Medina, said that Muslims will be ruled by Islamic law. The Jews will have their own law, their own synagogues, their temples, Christians, their own. So one day, there was a dispute amongst the Jews. There was a dispute amongst the Jews. There was a person who had committed adultery. And the punishment that had been imposed on this person was not according to what their law said. So there was a dispute. They came to Rasulullah. They knew that he was a man of God, he was a pious, even though maybe they didn't accept him as Rasul. They asked, they said, "Oh Muhammad, we have this case in which there is adultery and the punishment is not as severe as it should be. What should we do?" They said, "What is the punishment that should be meted out on this person?" Rasulullah, he says, "The punishment is such and such severe punishment." It was not what they were trying to do, what they were trying to impose on the adulterer, on the parties involved. They objected. They said, "How is that? This is very severe what you are proposing, Muhammad." He says, "No, but this is in your Tawrat. Your Tawrat has this in there." They said, "No, we don't believe you." He says, Rasulullah says, "Go and call one of your priests, a man named Ibn Suriya. Call him and bring him here. Bring him here and we will ask him." They bring Ibn Suriya. He is an expert in the Tawrat. He is one of the heads, the priests of the rabbis of the Jewish community. They call him, they bring him in. They pose the question and they say, "Muhammad has said that by the Tawrat, this is the severe punishment of an adulterer, contrary to what we want, which is a lighter punishment." Ibn Suriya, he says, "No, Muhammad is correct. Tawrat indeed says that the punishment is such and such severe punishment." So now Ibn Suriya, he looks at them, he says, "The reason you are trying to evade this is because you consider yourself elite." The elite of the Jews, they believed that the severe punishment of the Tawrat did not apply to them because of their social status. They felt they were above the law, above God's law, above the Tawrat and what they were saying. Now, regardless of the end of that, they say Ibn Suriya eventually became a Muslim. He eventually accepted Islam. But this was the state of the society there. You now not only have Aus and Khazraj, Nadir and Qurayza, but you have Ansar and Muhajirin. Ansar, they are agrarian by nature. They are farmers. They till the land. Farmers generally are not rich people. Muhajirin, on the other hand, they are traders. They are people who are used to a certain status in life. They are rich, but now they have left everything and they have come into Medina. Now imagine how they are supposed to live with each other. And how the interactions are supposed to take place. You've got tribal traditions, you've got different religions that are imposing their ways of doing things, their methodologies, their philosophies. You've got people visiting from outside who are coming in and bringing their own sort of philosophy and teaching. And indeed, this morning I was telling the story in the Nahj al-Balagha that one day a man, he had 2 young sons. One day they came and they said, "We have become Christian." So he asked, "How have you become Christian? We are Muslims. Rasul is here." They said, look, this poet has come, a poet had come from Rome. He had beautiful poetry and poetry about Christianity, about Jesus Christ. He converted these two boys. This man, the father of these two boys, he is distraught. He is upset. He goes to Rasulullah. He says, Rasulullah, my two sons have become Christian. And it may not be unlike what we face today, unfortunately. I am not saying this just randomly, but we are facing these issues today. Why? Because we have faith that shakes from the inside and is affected from everything on the outside. That's us. We are not firm inside, and the winds that blow all around us take us in every different direction. This is our nature. So now the man says, Ya Rasulullah, my two sons, they have become Christian. What can I do? I have to force them to become Muslim. Rasul, he says, no, la ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in religion. There's no compulsion in religion. The man says, so what should I do? Rasulullah, he says, it's not what you should do. He said, it's what you should have done. You should have prepared them for what society was going to throw at them. You should have prepared them for this event that was going to happen, knowing that these people are coming into your community, knowing these people from outside are coming. Prepare your children from now. Be aware that society is affecting you. Everything around you is affecting you. And now the questions I want to ask. That, one, how do we identify ourselves? Let's say you are fortunate here to have Idara-e-Jaferia in front of you. However, let's say you lived out in the middle of, I don't know, New Mexico or somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And there was no center, you are the only one there. Shi'i Muslim. Will your faith be the same there as it is here? That's a reasonable question, is it not? If you are living alone, let's say one day tomorrow your job moves and you have to go to some place where there are no Muslims. No Ahl Sunnah, no Shia, no nobody, no mosque. You are surrounded by non-Muslims. What will your faith look like? Is your faith dependent on your center? On your community? On how many people are praying around you? Indeed it is. It should be. It should be. That's not bad. Because when you stand in salat and you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka nasta'in. Do I say Iyaka a'budu wa Iyaka asta'in? Ihdinis sirat al-mustaqim. Am I saying that? No, I'm not saying Allah guide me, I worship you. Take me to the straight. No, we're saying take us. Take us. There is community. Surah Al-Fatiha says, Na'budu, take us to the straight path. Guide us, we worship you, we ask you, we. So there is this sense. But does that mean that your faith becomes dependent on everything around you? And that it is determined by the circumstances in which you live? If that's the case, then it is quite tenuous, is it not? It means that week to week, unless you come to the center, the other 6 days or 5 days that you're at home or in your job, your faith is suffering, is it not? And you can see this, that insan is so affected by his surroundings, so affected by the people who are around him or her. I'll tell you a study. They did this psychological study in which, if I remember the details correctly, they took some people one by one into a dark room, pitch black room, no light. They projected some images of light on the wall. And they said to them, look at them and think about the distance between the lights. Estimate 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet. Just estimate the distance. See what you think it looks like to you. What's the distance of those lights? They put in many people into the thing. They brought them out, some of them one by one. They put them in the questioning booth and they asked them, what was the estimate of the distance you found between the two lights? Approximately. What do you think it was? Some will say 1 foot, some say 1.5 feet. Estimating. On the other hand, they took another group, they put them in with another whole group of people. And what they said to them is, wait till the end, let's hear what everyone else has to say. And they purposefully told everybody else to give the wrong distances. Instead of saying 1 foot, which it probably was close to, they told the group, the researchers, tell the group that say it's like 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet. even though clearly it was only 1 foot approximately. So now when that person had looked at the light and previously he said 1 foot or she said 1 foot, now because he's sitting here, the researchers found that because they were hearing everybody in the group saying 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, instead of saying 1 foot, they were saying more like 4 feet. Even though they knew it's 1 foot, even though they had seen it's 1 foot. But the effect of the group around them, what did it do to them? Subconsciously, you want to fit in. Do you not? Subconsciously, you want to fit into the group, so you're going to say something that's going to make you sound like you fit in with the group. That means that we are so profoundly influenced by our cohort of people we are around that it affects who we are. It changes the way we behave. And what we have to ask ourselves is our faith by association? That is the question, right? That is our faith by association. You know the man Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi. Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi, he met Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein called him when he was in the tent on the way up to Karbala. He called him, he said, come to me. He sent one of the companions. The man refused. He says, no, I don't want to see Al-Hussein. I don't want to see Al-Hussein. Imam Hussein himself got up, went to the tent of Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi. He said to him, look, we are calling you for Jannah. Champion our cause, help us, support us, come with us, and we will ensure that you go to Jannah. You will be on the side of truth, fighting tyranny and corruption and perversion of our religion. Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi, he says, Yabna Rasulillah, can I give you some advice? Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he says, go ahead. He says, I have a horse that is so fast, it's the fastest in my stables. It has never failed me. I will gift it to you. Take it and run away from here. Take it and run away from here. Imam Hussein, he says, why? Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi, he says, because I am coming from Kufa, and those men, those people are not supporters of yours. They will not support you. So Imam Hussein, he says, what about you? This man, he says, if they would support you, you would find that I'm the first one in line with them. But because they're not ready to support you, I also will not support you. Look at the state of humanity, huh? His answer was conditional, that I will support you, Al-Hussein, if the Kufans were also here with me. I will be the first in line. I will be the first one in line if they had been here also. But because they're not trustworthy, I too cannot support you. It shows the faith. It shows. Imam Hussein, he says to him, he says, you gave me advice, now let me give you advice. He says, you take that horse and go as far away from here as possible. Because he says, if we call for help and support and you don't answer, you will end up in the lowest pits of hell. You take the horse and you run. You see the nature of people, and we are affected. Is our religion, is our faith by association? And it might very well be that if I sit alone at home and I have no center to go to, what will my Islam look like? What will my Iman look like? Is it solely dependent on coming here and practicing with people? Or can I say that I can be like Amir al-Mu'mineen, who would go out into the rocks and worship? Or like Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, who would walk away and go and worship all by himself. Can I say that? And you see that the nature of people basically falls into 3 categories. Insan falls into 3 categories. Why? Because it depends on how we are connected to people. It depends on how we are connected. One is something called identification. I identify with a group and I identify with them on the surface. Okay? So I give you an example. Everybody at my work smokes. Okay? Everybody smokes. They go at break time to smoke. I also go and I smoke with them, even though I'm not a smoker. I hope nobody smokes, really, honestly. Please don't smoke. Not good for your lungs. I tell you as a researcher. So they smoke, and I feel I want to identify with them. I want to feel like they accept me as a fellow employee. I go smoke with them, even though I don't want to smoke. It's not something I do when I go home. I go home, I don't smoke. That's called identification. You've identified with the group, even though you don't necessarily believe in what they want you to do. The second is compliance. The second thing called compliance, it means that I go into this job, they force me to do something I don't want to do. I openly say I don't want to do it, or I may not even say that, but I do it because I'm being compelled to do it. I'm forced. My dear brothers and sisters, does this not happen to us in society here? We feel compelled to do things because others are doing it. Because it is the norm. Because we feel we are being forced or compelled to do something, when really, maybe we are not. The last thing, the last trait that people have is something called internalization. Internalization, it basically means that anything, any group, any surrounding around me, I have taken its philosophy and I have internalized it, and I want to practice it because I believe in what it says and what it means. I have internalized it, right? That is what we are hoping that being surrounded with each other creates. That if I pray together, I attend majlis together, I learn Quran together, I do dua together, it internalizes a feeling. And you see that society is built on Allah's code, is it not? Society is built on Allah's code. And Allah's code is very simple. I'll explain to you what Allah's code is and why that is so important in affecting us and our faith and how we live and the conditions we put on our religion. Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ. Allah commands to 3 things, He prohibits 3 other things. Okay, this is the social standing, the social structure that Allah has created for us as we live in society. Allah commands adl, justice. He commands ihsan, doing good. He commands ita' dhal qurba, taking care of the close ones. And He forbids وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ, ugly actions, munkar, evil, baghi, rebelliousness and corruption of that which is true. And making something that is pure, impure, corrupting it, perverting it. So He denies those 3 things. Now, adl you all understand, yes? That adl means that if my friend, Brother Amjad here, I go and he's been talking to me nicely, and I start shouting and screaming at him for no reason, and I treat him very poorly. What is the justice here? Or I go and let's say I punch him in the eye, okay? I punch him in the eye. Really, I wouldn't do that, but it's an example. I go and I punch him in the eye, okay? There's no reason for it. I punch him in the eye. He's more handsome than I am, so I don't like that. I go punch him in the eye. He gets a blue eye from that, black eye, whatever. Purple eye, it's okay. What is justice here? Equal in return, right? That is justice. Justice means whatever is done to you, you have the right to do equal in return. He has a right to punch me back in the eye, right? I'm giving an example. That is adl. Adl means anything that's done, the punishment for it is in equal return. It's in equal measure. So why did Allah create ihsan? Ihsan means that I punched him in the eye for no reason. He has a right on me. Instead of meting out the justice on me, He forgives me. That is ihsan. All right? That is ihsan. That's how society works. That Allah is muhsin on us. His ihsan on us is great, because if He were to punish us for our bad deeds, we are gone from the earth. All of us. We are gone. Now you give to the poor, you help the needy, and Allah specifies in this verse, helping those who are close to you. Now He denies and He says, stay away from fahsha, munkar, baghi. Fahsha, ugly acts. Munkar, evil. Baghi, deviousness, breaking the laws of Islam, moving away from Allah's code. Allah says, stay away from these things. Why? Because society has a tendency of shifting. And when it shifts, it affects each individual. Believe me, every individual is affected by it. I'll give you an example. Today, what has happened to religiosity in our country, in America? If you look at the Pew Center and you look at the research of the Pew Center, they say particularly amongst Christians, religiosity has gone down. Religiosity has gone down. However, they say something called religious non-affiliation has gone up. Meaning people will come, if you ask them, you say, are you religious? They'll say, yes, I'm religious. But then if you ask them, what religion? They'll say, well, no religion really. I'm not affiliated. I believe in spirituality, goodness, all of these things, but I don't follow any religion. This is on the rise. Do you know one of the reasons why this is on the rise? Do you guys know? Look at the research. This recently came out that with the staunch support of the religious right in this country, of the Republican Party, do you know what it's done? It's pushed away some people away from the religion. Go look at the research. Because they see the staunch and somewhat blind support of the religious conservative right in this country for the Republican parties, other people have become turned off by religion. They've moved away from religion. They've decided, I'm going to be spiritual, but forget about religion. Imagine how it affects. Does this not happen to Muslims? How many Muslims have you come across who decide they don't want to pray, they don't want to fast, they don't want to do anything because they see some corruption in the Muslim world? Yes? They will see that some poor girl has been treated poorly in one of the villages somewhere in a Muslim country. She's been married off at the age of 9. Such and such has happened to her. So somebody sitting in America will say, look at that ugliness of the Muslims. Forget about Islam. Islam's gone. This is not religion. This is not God. This is not what... I don't need to have this religion to believe in God and be a good person. Right? That doesn't happen to us. It happens so much to us. It is happening every day in this country to us. Muslims are looking to see what is happening in society, and they are determining their religion by that event in society. They are changing who they are by that event in society, which means that their very religion is affiliated with something external to them. That cannot happen. That absolutely cannot happen. Why? Because society will continuously change. If you base your religion on your surroundings, the minute your surroundings change, what happens to your religion? It changes as well, does it not? Very simple. You base your religion on someone else other than the Ma'soom. You see them doing something poor, what's that going to do to your faith? It will shake it. Will it not? It will shake it. It will shake the very foundation of what you believe in. And again, I am not suggesting that the social aspect of Islam should not be considered, or that Islam is not about us being together and strengthening our faith together. No, the millions who are marching on Karbala or are in Karbala already today are a testament to that unity, to that strength in numbers. And you see that. It is a very profound thing. But it should not be determined. Your faith is between you and Allah. If your faith is determined by your brother coming to the center, or how the Sheikh looks in the beginning of the prayers, or how much food is being served in the majlis, that's not true faith, my dear brothers and sisters. And the minute society changes, your faith will change with it. And you see, this is what happened in Islam, did it not? That those who stood against Imam Hussein, they were shifting with the society. Banu Umayyah came and threatened them, they changed directions. Did they not? The Khawarij were on the side of Imam Ali until they saw a shift in the tide, they changed the tide also. That's why I will say this to you, that we are fortunate. We are fortunate because let society change. Let the world change. Let centuries go by. Years. Let governments change, let people come and go. We are fortunate because we hold on to the thing that does not change, and that is imamat. Imamat doesn't change, you see it. Imamat is that pillar, that beacon, that let everything around change, it remains anchored and in its place, shining its light on you, constantly. So let everything come and go. Imam always says, come to me. Let me show you what is the right way. Don't determine your faith based on X, Y, and Z outside of you, in society, the way someone is doing, the norms of the world. Base your faith on what I am telling you as Imam. I will show it to you. And why is that perfect? Because awwaluna Muhammad, awsatuna Muhammad, akhiruna Muhammad, kulluna Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Imamat is that anchor that never moves, that even in your darkest moment you turn to hold on to it, it is there. And it will point you to the Quran It will explain the Quran. It will tell you how to act, how to behave, what to say, what to do. You need only search it out. Rather than saying, what is society telling me to do, or how to change my views, or how to behave, don't sway with society. Behave in a way that is anchored to Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad alayhim as-salatu was-salam. And it is a nur that stays connected constantly. They say one day, Al-Imam al-Sadiq alayhi as-salatu was-salam, he went to the market with one of his attendants. I don't like saying servant. We use the word servant or slave. These people were educated by Ahl al-Bayt. The slaves that were bought, purchased by Imams and freed. Imams always bought and freed the slaves, had more knowledge than free people did, believe me. So one day Imam goes to the market. He's got this slave with him, the attendant with him. He says to him, stay with the horse, I am going for some work. I have some things to take care of. He goes, while the servant is standing there, some men from Khurasan, from Persia, come by. They ask the slave, they say, who are you? He says, I am the Mawla of Ja'far ibn Muhammad, alayhim as-salam. I am the servant or attendant of Ja'far ibn Muhammad. They said, oh, we have heard lots about your master. They said, we would like to pay money to your master so he can free you and you can join us. And we will pay you, reward you, and you can come with us. That's how much value the servant had. So he said, I have to ask my master. They said, we'll give you tens and thousands of dinar. You join us, we will pay you, you will be free, you will be happy. He says, I have to ask my master. They go away. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam comes, the servant, he says, Yabna Rasulillah. He says, if I ask you something, will you fulfill it for me? If I make a request of you, will you grant it to me? Imam al-Sadiq, he says, of course. We do not turn away anyone who asks us, come to the door of Ahl al-Bayt. Ask and we will grant it to you. The servant, he says, if I ask that if someone pays money to you, you sell me and free me so I can go and be free and I earn money. Imam says, yes, I can. But let me tell you something. He says, on the day of judgment, he says, Rasulullah is going to be holding on to the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَعَلَّقَ عَلِي بِنُورِ Muhammad. Ali is going to be holding on to the nur of Muhammad. وَالْحَسَنْ وَالْحُسَيْنِ يَتَعَلَّقَانِ بِنُورِ عَلِيٍّ. Hassan and Hussein will be holding the nur. The nur is going to be pulling. Ali ibn al-Hussein will be pulling his father's nur and going up. Muhammad ibn Ali will be pulling his father's nur and going up. And he says, I will be pulling my father's nur. And all the imams after me. And he says, our Shia who stay with us will be holding on to our nur and they will be pulled. He says, now you make your decision whether you would like to go. If you want to be, I will accept the payment and you can be free. They say the Khurasani men come. They say, have you come to some decision? He remains silent, the servant. They say to him, the look on your face before when we proposed this to you is very different than the look on your face right now. He says, yes, I must decline your offer because that is an unbroken line of nur that will take me towards salvation. That is imamat. That's why when I say hold on to imamat, don't worry about the surroundings and how they impact you. And indeed they impact. Don't worry about society. Don't worry about what anybody does that represents quote unquote Islam. Look at imamat. Look at the behavior of imamat. Because it is an unbroken chain. It is an unbroken chain. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin. And it contains the knowledge in it that started with Rasulullah and went all the way down. All the way down. And it was unbroken and it remains unbroken today. Go to that knowledge. Hold on to that knowledge. Because that knowledge is very deep. And it will give you rigor, it will give you resilience, it will give you strength. And when the world changes, you will be unchanged. You will not change. Example of that is the millions who are sitting with Abi Abdullah al-Hussein today. See that, how it is, what it is like. And you see, they say, one day there was a man named Yahya ibn Aktham. I'm sure maybe you have heard this riwayah. Yahya ibn Aktham was one of the scholars of the Banu Abbas. And he was knowledgeable, so he was brought by Ma'mun al-Abbasi to question al-Imam al-Jawad. And you know this story, that he comes and he asks that, O Muhammad ibn Ali al-Jawad, if a man is in ihram, if he is muhrim, going for hajj, and he kills an animal, what is the punishment? What is the penalty for him? And Imam Jawad answers him, he says, your question is flawed. And he is stumped. He doesn't know why the question. So he explains, is he a free man? Is he a slave? What type of animal was it? Was he in the area of the haram? Was he outside? What was he? All these conditions. Now, after the demise of Imam Jawad, who died at 27 years of age, they say the Abbasi Khalif who came after Ma'mun, 2 or 3 generations after, calls Yahya ibn Aktham again. And he says, I want you to question Ali ibn Muhammad al-Hadi, Imam Jawad's son. Now look, they want to question Imamat. Why? Because they want anything to shake this pillar that's in the ground, to shake it. And that's what they want. What do the Nasibis want? They want to shake this pillar. They want you to stop crying for Al-Hussein. They want you to stop saying, Ya Ali. They want you to stop saying, Ya Hussein, Ya Hassan. They want you to stop. And you see that these Abbasis, they send Yahya ibn Aktham to ask some questions. So he writes these questions down for Imam al-Hadi, and he sends them to Imam al-Hadi. Now, Imam Hadi receives the questions and immediately answers. The questions are, one, why did Yaqub alayhi salam and the brothers bow down prostrate in front of Yusuf? It's in the Quran. That when they came to Egypt finally and the reunion took place, they all prostrated. They went down into sajda in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. The question is, how is it they are bowing in front of Yusuf alayhi salam and not, this is not Allah, this is a human being? That's the first question. Second question, Maulana mentioned it in his speech last night, that Imam Ali, when he was at Jamal, at the Battle of Jamal, after he defeated the enemy, why didn't he pursue them to kill them? Why did he just strike them to wound them? Whereas on the other hand, in Siffin, when he fought the enemy, he kept fighting them until he vanquished them, until he killed them. Why the difference? Why Jamal he allowed them to live, and Siffin he pursued them, forced them? The third question he asks is Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he wanted the throne of Bilqis, why did he ask someone with a little bit of knowledge of the book to go get the throne? Isn't Nabi Allah supposed to be the most knowledgeable of his community? Nabi is the most knowledgeable, yes? Nobody should be more knowledgeable than the Nabi in his community. So why is it that Sulaiman has to ask somebody to get the throne? He has the most knowledge. This man, this entity who has one ayah of knowledge can bring the throne. Why didn't he just do it himself? He is Nabi. He's got the most knowledge. Imam writes back. First question, why did Yaqub alayhi salam and the brothers prostrate, do sajda in front of Yusuf? Imam answers, he says, because this was ta'atan lillah wa tahiyyatan li Yusuf. He says they prostrated obedience to God, but in a way to just give a greeting to Yusuf alayhi salam. It was not prostration to Yusuf as if he is something significant like that. In that way, the prostration was obedience to God. It was not to Yusuf. He explains that. Second point, he says, Imam Ali alayhi salam in Jamal only struck them to wound them and didn't pursue, because when Imam Ali saw that the figure, the leader, the figurehead of that army had been toppled, had been dropped, now these soldiers had no longer had any strength left in them. There was nothing driving them, nothing leading them, so he saw no reason to attack them anymore. The army of his enemy had been defeated and it was breaking apart. He left them. However, at Siffin, the head of the snake was still there. Yes? And that is a true snake right there. The head of the snake was still there. It had not been vanquished. It had not been defeated. It was still there. So Imam Ali said, continue to fight them, because these enemies will not stop. They will continue to pervert the name of Islam, the book of Allah, and the seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So continue to fight. As for the third question, that Sulaiman being the Nabi, The Prophet, having most knowledge in his community, nobody is greater than him, his aql is most complete. Why does he need to ask someone who has ilmun min al-kitab, little bit of knowledge, one letter he knows? Imam al-Hadi writes back, he says, because the Nabi needed to point out to the community who his successor is going to be. Nabi Allah Sulaiman wanted to point out that although I can do it myself, there's somebody else here who has knowledge. And after I am gone, Asif bin Barqiya is going to be the one who will take over from me as my successor. That's why you understand that when Rasulullah, he says, Ya Ali, go forward and fight Marhab. Ya Ali, go fight Umru ibn Abdawad. Ya Ali, sleep in my bed. Ya Ali, do this. Ya Ali, do that. You know why he is doing it. It is an indication of that line of imamat that points to where you should hold on. And we are followers of these people. We are the ones who hold on to them tight. Why? Because it changes you on the inside, doesn't it? It makes you such that nothing will affect you, not politics, not social change, not anything. And we talk about Imam Hussein, that the revolution of Imam Hussein changed the world, didn't it? Today even it changes the world, the revolution of Imam Hussein. But I ask you this question, is it really a revolution? You'll say, I've gone crazy, right? You'll say he's crazy. Is it really a revolution? If you read and find out what is the definition of a revolution, look at it. Look at the definition of revolution. The definition of a revolution, some sociologists say that it is institutional change in society. Okay? Institutional change. What was a monarchy became a democracy, right? What was an autocracy of some sort became a proletariat, etc., etc. It's an institutional change in society or politics. Some people say this is revolution. What happened in France? Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake. They cut her head off and they took over. Russia, the Tsar was the same way. Tsar Nikolai. What happened? The workers rose up. They dethroned him. Monarchy gone. Right? So you have social institutional change. Some people say, no, revolution is the mass movement of people. Indeed it is. That when the United States fought in the Revolutionary War against the British, it was a mass movement. The Americans, the colonists who were here, they rose up with their pitchforks and their knives and whatever muskets they had to fight the overlord. It was a mass movement. So revolution is a mass movement of people, as many people as you can get. Then even you have some people like Lenin, father of Soviet Russia, who says that revolution is a celebration of the working class. It's where the working class are liberated and they celebrate their liberation, their freedom. They are able to do what they weren't able to do before. Now I ask you that when Imam Hussein alayhi salam fought in Karbala, was there any institutional change? Was there an institutional change? Banu Umayyah stayed. They stayed for the next 71 years. Did they not? Banu Umayyah, Banu Marwan came. La'natullahi alayhim ajma'in. Was there institutional change? No institutional change. Political change? No. Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi came and he was launching firebombs on the Kaaba. What institutional change? Any institutional change? No institutional change. What about mass movement of people? Any mass movement of people? Imam Hussein had 73 men standing with him against 30,000. Is this mass movement? Is there mass movement? Maybe today you say, yes, there are 20 million going to Karbala. But Imam Hussein, is that a revolution where you have 73 men fighting against 30,000? No, any person looking at history, they'll say, this is a massacre. There's no revolution here. It's not even a fight. It's not even a fight. This is not a revolution. What about a celebration of the masses? Was there any celebration for Ahl al-Bayt after Karbala? Why? Because they were liberated? They got liberation? Even after they were released from Sham and they went back to Medina. Sayyida Zainab was brought back up to Dimashq not long after. Was she left in peace? Every imam of ours was pulled from the grave of Rasulullah. Every imam. Imam Kadhim alayhi salam, 20 years in prison. Basra to Baghdad, back and forth. Imam Rida, taken away from the grave up to Maru. Imam Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, Imam Askari, What mass celebration is there of liberation? None. Why? Because I feel, maybe you disagree with me, that this is not revolution like they describe. This is not about change in the environment. This is about Imam Hussein lighting the fire in each one of us, each individual. It is not about the masses. It is not about society. It's not about a change in everyone around. It's to say each one of you becomes a unit of change. Each one of you becomes that little fire, that little flicker of energy that changes the surroundings. Why? Because every time that Muharram rolls around, your tears come out for Al-Hussein. And what did they say? That لِقَتْلِ الْحُسَيْنِ حَرَارَةً فِي قُلُوبَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ لَمْ تَبْرُدْ أَبَدًا. That the love of Hussein is so strong, so potent in the hearts of the believers, it is a fire that will never go cold. Is that because you are all together? No, it is because you as an individual love Al-Hussein. Because you as a person feel a longing for that grave of Al-Hussein. That you yourself feel on the day of Ashura, you are standing on the plain with Abi Abdullah Al-Hussein. That you feel inside of yourself that I am the vehicle of change because of Al-Hussein. That is the legacy of Karbala. And you see that its loudest voice, its loudest proponent is one person. And you know, we are here to remember her. We are here to remember this beacon. And let no one say that Islam denigrates women, that Islam considers women to be less, that Islam considers women to be of decreased capacity or less intelligence or less ability to exact change. No, my dear brothers and sisters. Read the khutab of Fatima al-Zahra alayha salatu wassalam. Read the eloquence of Al-Hawra al-Aqila Zainab. On the day of Ashura, when everyone had been martyred, they say Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was walking between the tents. Everyone is gone now. Zuhair ibn al-Qayn is martyred, Burayr ibn Hudayr is martyred, Muslim ibn Awsaja, Habib ibn Madahir, all are martyred. Ali al-Akbar ibn al-Hussein, Qasim ibn al-Hasan, Abdullah ibn al-Hasan, Abdullah ibn Muslim, so many of the youth gone. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas is gone. Ja'far ibn Ali is gone. Uthman ibn Ali is gone. Abdullah ibn Ali is also gone. They are all gone. And now our Mawla is walking through the tents by himself. And he says, مَنْ يُقَدِّمُ لِي جَوَادِي مَنْ يُقَدِّمُ لِي جَوَادِي وَأَنَا ابْنُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Who is going to bring me my horse? And I am the son of Rasulullah. من يقدم لي جوادي وأنا ابن علي المرتضى. Who will bring for me my horse? And I am the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, من يقدم لي جوادي وأنا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. Who will bring for me my horse? And I am the son of Fatima al-Zahra. The flap of the tent opens. A lady, she comes out. She says, Ya akhi, ya nur aini, liman tunadi jarahta qalbi. My Hussein, my brother, ya Hussein, the love of my eyes, who are you calling? You have burned my heart. There is no one left in these tents. Al-Hawra al-Aqila Zainab, she comes out of the tent. Now see this relationship between the brother and the sister. They are never separated from each other. Since childhood they have been together, never leaving each other's company. Sayyida Zainab, she sees Imam Hussein is about to leave and go into the battlefield. She says to him, Ya akhi li alayka thalath talibat. I have 3 requests from you, my brother, Ya Hussein. Imam Hussein, he says, tell me, my sister, What are these three requests? Sayyida Zainab, she says, أما الطلبة الأولى أن تدعو الله يعينني على تحمل رزاياك وتنفيذ وصاياك. Pray to Allah, O Hussein, O my brother, that Allah gives me the strength to bear your loss when you are gone. Pray to Allah that I have the strength to fulfill your trust on me, the task you have placed on me, that I have the strength to fulfill it. Imam Hussein, he says, I will do what I can. My sister, Sayyida Zainab, she says, أما الطلبة الثانية, as for the second request, إنك قادم إلى جدي وأبي وأمي وأخي فاقرأهم عني السلام. My brother Ya Hussein, you are going to be seeing our grandfather Rasulullah. You will see our mother Fatima. You will see our father Ali and our brother Al-Hassan. Give them my salam when you see them, because I will still be here on this earth. أما الطلبة الثالثة, as for the third request, oh my brother Ya Hussein, اكشف لي عن صدرك ونحرك. My brother Ya Hussein, open your shirt and let me see your chest and your neck. Imam Hussein, he says, Ya Ukhayya Ya Zainab, my sister Ya Zainab, why do you want me to open my shirt? She says to him, my brother, do you remember on the day when our mother Fatima left this world? When you were not present, she called me close to her. She brought me close and she said, Ya Bunayya, Ya Zainab, إني لم أكن حاورة عند أخيك ولكنك تحورين عنه. I am not going to be present with your brother Al-Hussein, but you are going to be there next to him. فإذا جاء لوداعكم فشميه لي في صدره وقبليه لي في نحره. My daughter Ya Zainab, when Al-Hussein comes to say farewell to you, open his shirt, and for your mother Fatima, smell the fragrance of his chest. Kiss him on his neck for your mother Fatima. Imam Hussein opens his chest. Sayyida Zainab smelled the fragrance of his chest, kissed him on the neck. This is where the arrows are going to fall. This is where the swords are going to strike. After smelling the fragrance, after kissing the neck, she turns towards Medina. She says, Ya Umma laqad nafadtu al-wasiyya وأديت الأمانة. My mother, I fulfilled what you asked me to do. I have done what you have placed on me. This Zainab is watching from the tents. She is watching the fighting of her brother Al-Hussein. She is watching as they surround him from all the sides. She is watching as Shimr al-La'in kicks Maulana Al-Hussein, sits on the chest of Al-Hussein. يأخذ بشيبة الحسين, takes the beard of Al-Hussein. And all you can hear from the tents after that is وَثَكَلَا وَمُصِيبَتَا وَحُسَيْنَا وَعَلِيًّا. Oh, the tragedy that has befallen. Sayyida Zainab was taken as a prisoner all the way through Kufa and through Sham. The eloquence with which she spoke shook the hearts of the people. Nothing around her changed her strength. When they asked her that كيف رأيت ما فعل بكم, how did you see, when Ubaydullah asked her, how did you see what was done to your family in Karbala? She says, ما رأيت إلا جميلا. I saw only beauty in what has happened, because we have given ourselves for Allah. They were taken to the Khariba, to the prisons in Sham.
In those days in the darkness, she had to care for Sukayna bint al-Hussein. She had to bury that body in the khariba. She had to bury this small little body in the grave in the prison. Finally, when Yazid was afraid for his rulership, the people began to ask the questions. He commanded his soldiers that in the middle of the night, take this family and return them back to their home. But first call to me Ali ibn al-Hussein. He brought Ali ibn al-Hussein, Imam al-Sajjad, in front of him. He says to him that, O son of Hussein, what was done to you was the animosity of Umar ibn Sa'ad and Ubaidullah. I would like to compensate you for your losses, for what you have gone through. I will give you gold and silver and compensation. Imam al-Sajjad, he says to Yazid that we don't want any of this. We just want the belongings that we brought with us. We want that there is safe passage for the daughters of Rasulullah to Medina. Yazid, la'natullahi alayh, he says, don't worry, you will be the one to take them, escort them back to Medina. As for your possessions, there is nothing of value in here. I will give you gold and silver in compensation. There is nothing but tattered clothes and things that have no value. Imam al-Sajjad, he says, even though that is what we want, we do not want your gold or your payment. He says to him, Yazid says, why is that? Imam al-Sajjad, he says, because in these possessions are the things given to us by our grandmother Fatima al-Zahra. Just return it back to us so we can take it home to Medina. They say Yazid relents. Finally, Imam Sajjad, he says, Ya Yazid, give us back the heads of our shuhada. We want the heads so we can bury them. Yazid, la'natullahi alayh, abad al-abidin. Make sure, my believers, you, all of you, when you remember the name of Al-Hussein, you remember the name of Ali ibn al-Hussein. Watch how they left Sham towards Karbala. When they were freed, they came to a fork in the road. In the desert, there was two ways to go. Sayyida Zainab, she came towards Imam al-Sajjad. She says to him, let us go towards Karbala. Leave this other road and let us go towards Karbala. The caravan goes towards Karbala. The Rawi, he says that Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari is waiting over there. They finally reach into Karbala. One by one, نزلت النساء على الأرض. The ladies one by one started to get down. جاءت ليلى ورمت بنفسها على قبر علي الأكبر. Layla came and dropped herself on the grave of Ali al-Akbar. جاءت رملة ورمت بنفسها على قبر قاسم ibn al-Hasan. Ramla came and fell down on the body, on the grave of Qasim ibn al-Hasan. Rabab, what can we say about Rabab? Ramat binafsiha ala qabr al-Radi'. She fell on the grave of Abdullah al-Radi', Ali al-Azghar. Every lady is going towards her loved one. There is one little girl, she is running all over the desert. She cannot find the grave she is looking for. She comes to Sayyida Zainab. She says, Ya Ammata, ayna qabr walidi Muslim ibn Aqil. Where is the grave of my father, Muslim ibn Aqil? This is Hamida, the daughter of Muslim. Sayyida Zainab, she says, Bunayya qabr walidaki fi Kufa. His grave is in Kufa, it is not here in Karbala. All the ladies are falling on the grave. Then Al-Hawra Zainab Al-Kubra, she comes to the grave of her beloved Al-Hussein, falls on the grave of Imam Al-Hussein. She says, قبرك يا حسين قبرك لو ينكشف يا حسين قبرك أنا فق اللحد واتمدد بجنبك. I am at your grave, my brother. صاحت لا تنام لا تنام خوي حسين ترى جيتك من الشام. My brother, you are sleeping. Wake up. I have come to see you from Sham. 40 days and nights have gone by. We have received the hits on our head. The earrings were snatched from our ears. Ya Hussein, get up. This is Zainab, your sister. I have come back to you. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. 10 times. يا الله 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 يا الله. اللهم إنا نسألك بحق محمد وأنت المحمود وبحق علي وأنت العلي الأعلى. اللهم إنا نسألك بحق فاطمة وأنت فاطر السماوات والأرض ونسألك بحق الحسن وأنت المحسن ونسألك بحق الحسين الشهيد وأنت قديم الإحسان. فرج عنا يا الله فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر أو هو أقرب من ذلك وافرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
Hussein, 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 Hussein.
Countless voices cry mourning, weeping with grief and pain. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. Countless voices cry mourning, weeping with grief and pain. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. On Ashura, the family of Hussein caused the earth to shake. On Ashura, the family of Hussein caused the earth to shake. It heard the swords clash across the field, cries of Al-Atash. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. Battle over, all the men had gone, no one to defend. Battle over, all the men had gone, no one to defend. The veils were snatched, jewelry oozed from ears, Sakina's cry so pure. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. Paraded through the streets and markets to Kufa and Sham. Paraded through the streets and markets to Kufa and Sham. O people, did you not know them? They are Rasul. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. The court in Sham, the palace of Yazid, tied in chains in pain. The court in Sham, the palace of Yazid, tied in chains in pain. Zainab stood defending tragedy of the martyrs will live in our hearts. The tragedy of the martyrs will live in our hearts. The lesson from those in Karbala, examples for us all. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab. Countless voices crying mourning, weeping with grief and pain. Had I a sword, I would defend the veil of Zainab.
Hussein, 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 Hussein.
Can you hear it loud and clear? The call of Sayyid al-Shuhada. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا On the day of Ashura, from that land of Karbala, هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Battered and surrounded by the likes of Shimra Hormula. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Hurt and thirsty, yet his cry reaches everyone near and far. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا There is no Qasim or Akbar on Muhammad Abdullah. There is no Abbas or no Muslim Ibn Asudja. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا We wish we were there to say لبيك يا ابن رسول الله We wish we could have responded to your call of Ashura هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا 1400 years it's been, still it feels like yesterday. Your husband still resonates in the minds of your Shia. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا We will be your messengers. We will propagate your name. We will spread the light of justice through the power of your flame. If we want to be this way, if we wish to say the bake, we must first begin to see. We must first begin to take. Every day as Ashura, every land as Karbala. كل يوم عاشورا كل أرض كربلاء Every day as Ashura, every land as Karbala. كل يوم عاشورا كل أرض كربلاء هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا
Hussein, 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 اللهم صل على محمد
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك